Hi, everybody. This is Mark Andriotta, and this is for discussion board number 4. I'm going to be talking about Johann Pestalozzi. I did my report on him. I felt that of everybody we've read so far, I think personally I identify with a lot of the stuff that he advocated in his educational philosophy, his method, as he would call it. Trust, I should say, was the basis of his overall methodology or pedagogy. He, as you read in Gutek, was influenced very much by the relationship he had with his mother and with the servant that they had in the household after his father had died, and that they had instilled in him a sense of security. And so when he was learning, they didn't condemn him. And because of that, he was able to freely learn without fear of rejection or punishment or any of that kind of stuff if he didn't fall in line with things. And so that impacted how he would later teach after his university education. And again, he was born and experienced the whole gamut of the French Revolution. And as he began to move into teaching on his own at his farm in Neuhof, and then later on in Stans, and then Berghoff, and then Verdun, he was able to instill this natural education and teach and train teachers in how to best help students, again, with this pedagogy of love that he had. He was a big believer in practical education, vocational, we might call it today. And as a result, the whole thing wasn't about, just a rote memorization. He rejected what had occurred before with most schools where it was elitist and it was the old, Latin and Greek or the classics kind of a thing that went on. His whole theory also revolved around what he called the head, the heart, and the hands, or people sometimes refer to it as how do you think, feel, and act. And this was based on, again, this pedagogy of love we would call, about trying to draw people over time as they venture out in society and use that knowledge that they had gained, that now it would lead them to God. And so a lot of his stuff was really about nurturing the whole child, not just their mind, not just memorization of passages that they didn't understand, but they would be inquisitive, and it would be encouraged for them to be inquisitive. And then ultimately it would help them to be able to fit into their world, to do better for their society in local, and then as nation, and then obviously towards God was the ultimate thing. The teacher training also revolved around, his idea of curriculum, and that it should be age appropriate for each child. We look at Jean Piaget, and I mentioned this in my paper, and the idea of a stage theorist, where you look at how the mind, his whole idea of cognitive development in the different stages, and that you can only handle certain types of thinking at certain stages. In other words, your mind develops, because a lot of people back in the day thought that children were just little adults, and they thought, it wasn't like a big difference. But Piaget really brought that out. Well, I think but I think Pestalozzi, and then Froebel as well. He was influenced by Pestalozzi. Spent time with him. They realized that children think differently, and as they grow older, you need to expand that thinking based on what they can handle. And again, so the curriculum would be age appropriate. So I really believe Pestalozzi had a huge impact, and as others do, it wasn't just my belief, but based on what I read, on the common school movement. And really, again, going back to Froebel, and if you look at Mann and then the 20th century progressives, a great deal was gleaned from Pestalozzian ideology as well. So I think as all the people we've read, I could have thrown in Comenius in there. He had a great deal of influence. And again, Pestalozzi really wanted to make it about trust and this relationship-based education. So that's it. I've enjoyed this class. I hope you guys can give me some good comments on this.